everyone, my name is Christina Peterson. I am doing a presentation on veterans and how they communicate and how we can communicate better with veterans. This is for my oral communication class, and I hope you all learned something. So, how many of us have veterans in our lives? I'm going to assume that that number is pretty high, considering that veterans have a very high population in the U.S. I personally have friends that are veterans. I have family members that are veterans. So this is pretty close to my heart. But I also didn't know as many of these things that I'm going to share with you guys. And I personally want to become a substance abuse counselor and work specifically with veterans, so I feel that this was something that I really needed to look into further so that I am able to communicate effectively with veterans when I do go into that field. So, some facts about the U.S. military is that it is categorized as 6 major branches, which all serve different purposes for the country. The branches are as followed: Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marine Corps, and Space Force. Some facts about veterans in the U.S. that I got from History.com is that 19 million living veterans have served during at least one war as of April 2021. 11% of veterans are women. 5.9 million veterans served in the Vietnam War. 7.8 million veterans served in the Gulf War era. Of the 16 million Americans who served during World War II, about 240,000 are still alive as of 2021. I find that fascinating. I am a huge World War II buff, so I find that fascinating that there are still as many alive as there is. Also, 933,000 veterans served in the Korean War. As of 2021, the top 3 states that have the highest percentage of veterans living in them are Alaska, Virginia, and Montana. So, the different values of the branches. Although they do share the same overall values, they do have different core values. So what does that exactly mean? And it means that although they did a basic oath to serve and protect the citizens and the country, they do have differences in their core values. So this can affect how they communicate with one another, other military branches as well. And it just is very important to know what the core values are, because I feel that once you have an understanding of the core values, you can actually look into a person better and you can see what they care about, what their values are, what they stand for, all of that stuff, and you can better communicate with them because you have a better understanding. So, I found on the DoD website, it's an article on core values, which DoD stands for the Department of Defense. So, the values are as stated. The DoD values are integrity, ethics, honor, courage, and loyalty. Air Force values integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all that we do. Army, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Coast Guard, honor, respect, and devotion to duty. Marine Corps, honor, courage, and commitment. And the Navy is also honor, courage, and commitment. So why is it important that we know the branches have different core values? It is important to know due to the fact that knowing values can tell you a lot about a person. This information can help you communicate to them as well as it gives you insight into that person's values. So, what are some stigmas surrounding veterans? The biggest stigma surrounding veterans is one that I feel surrounds any civilian as well, I feel like it's a major stigma in the US, and that would be mental health issues. One major one that I found when I was researching was that veterans all have PTSD. That's not true. Not all veterans have some sort of PTSD, although it is very common in veterans. All veterans are strict and authoritative. No, some veterans can be laid back. You have to understand that it is the way they are taught in the military is to be that way. So not all of them are going to carry that over. My brother-in-law is not that way at all. He is very laid back. You can have a comforting conversation with him. He's very calm. He's not strict. He's intimidating, but he's not as intimidating as people make them out to be, especially in movies and stuff. He's a very nice guy. And most veterans suffer from substance abuse issues. That's not true. A lot of them do, but not all of them. These stigmas are not true, at least not for the whole population. One way we can stop these stigmas is by not believing everything we see in the news, movies, TV about how veterans are. We could spend time with veterans and volunteer at a veteran-based service so that we can learn more about them and what they're actually like. So, how do veterans communicate differently from civilians? Oftentimes, veterans come off as impatient, aggressive, use different languages such as their military lingo, or sometimes they use like phrases that may not be used in civilian life. They may look stiff or like they are not enjoying the conversation. They conceal their emotions well. They are not used to communicating in a civilian setting, so a civilian setting is different from a military setting, so they may not be used to being back in a civilian setting. Oftentimes they don't mean to come off stiff. They are just getting used to being back in a civilian setting. So, how can we as civilians communicate better with veterans? We can understand that veterans have different experiences than civilians. We can change the whole tone of the conversation. Stay respectful. Don't ask questions that you would not want to be asked if you were in their situation. You don't know what kind of trauma that could bring up for them. You can ask or thank them for their service. Oftentimes veterans feel underappreciated, and by just thanking them for their service, you would be able to give them a sense of appreciation. Understand that it may take them time to break the military modes of communication, and that it may help, or it may take them time to get back into civilian living and talking situations. Please take the time to listen to them and be calm with them. Don't assume that you know what they have been through just because you see stuff on the news or the movies or TV, or you know other veterans. Not everyone's experience is the same, so that may not end well. They may get defensive or just not want to talk to you anymore because they feel pressured into telling you their situation, or they may end up having flashbacks, which would then result in them not having a good time. So please just be respectful when you're talking to them. So what is our objective as civilians? Please be respectful when you're talking with them. Be patient and calm. Don't ask rude questions if you see them struggling. Please offer help in a respectful way. Don't believe all the stigmas that you read or hear. Not everyone has the same values, and knowing this insight could help you maintain a better relationship with them. So basically, just treat them as a human. Don't treat them as just a service member. Yes, thank them for their service, but please don't just base that whole experience on their whole personality. That's not their whole personality. So yeah, do you guys have any questions that I could answer? I would love to hear questions, remarks about this topic. Thank you.